Mr. Mayor.
Yes, we opened the Charter Review Board meeting, Wednesday, September the 20th, 2017, at 6:10. Okay, so let's rise. Roll call, please. By the way, I don't know if you mentioned the city clerk.
I will when I do the roll call.
Okay.
Mayor Eduardo Muriña,
Present.
and it should be Candida Blanca, Vice Mayor. There's a typo here.
¿cómo estás?
Yes.
Commissioner Juan
Se te olvidó que
Blanes.
tenemos chat de review board hoy.
Commissioner Rhonda Rodriguez.
Present.
Commissioner
Pero
Luciano
vienes al meeting.
Suarez.
Yes.
Member Antonia
Bueno,
Chávez.
sube. Ok, perfecto. No coges el elevador, me
Member
pones escalera.
Eugenio González.
Que el elevador tiene problemas.
Member Natalie Milian.
It's the elevator. I hope doesn't get
Oh
locked
boy.
there.
Member Ralph Orell.
Present.
Member Joe Paz.
Present.
Member Zachariah Evangelista.
Present.
Yolanda Aguilar, City Manager, is present. Jose Villalobos, City Attorney, present. And Annette Gonzalez, our City Clerk, is excused. Her little boy is in the hospital, and we pray for his speedy recovery.
Little
By consensus, Mr. Mayor,
Ivancito is in Miami Children's.
Yoli,
Se cayó.
ahí llegó.
No, he
Yoli,
has some
ahí
pain
llegó
in
también.
the back and they running some checkups. So
by
let's do
consensus,
the-
Mr. Mayor, you should appoint the clerk to act in these proceedings.
Okay, so at this time, we appoint our city manager, Yolanda Aguilar, as the acting city clerk for this meeting.
Thank you. Duly noted, and the record reflects that Natalie Milian has arrived at the meeting. She's marked present.
Natalie, the elevator work?
It did.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yes,
It didn't for the mayor, he got stuck in the.
Doesn't like you.
Me too, that's why it's the one I said. The elevator was shaking. Yes, I know. I know, I just started right now. We just sat down right now. Yeah, we just literally started. Yeah, the island is like a song. It's like a that elevator.
next item.
Next item, number 3, citizens' presentation. None at this time. Item number 4, approval of minutes of the August 16th, 2017 meeting, here to attach to your packet. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the August 16th Charter Review Board meeting?
Motion.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor, I have a second, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Motion passes.
Okay. Item number 5 is the swearing in of member Ralph Orell and member Joe Paz, and alternate member Zachariah Evangelista. So if you gentlemen would join me at the podium, we'll do the oath of office. All right, so gentlemen, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. This is your oath of office for the Charter Review Board. I, Zachariah Evangelista, Joe Paz, and Ralph Orell, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution the laws of the United States of America
and will obey the laws of the United States of America
and the state of Florida.
and the state of Florida.
That I will, in all respects,
That I will in all respects
observe the provisions of the Charter
observe the provisions of the Charter
and the ordinances of the city of West Miami,
and the ordinances of the city of West Miami,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office of the Charter Review Board
the duties of the office of the Charter Review Board
as a member of the city of West Miami.
as a member of the city of West Miami.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. And don't go anywhere, you need to sign. Zachariah, what you have is 2 copies, one for you and one for the clerk's office. Join me here at the podium, we'll do one by one. Copy? Oh, I have to sign.
¿Qué cosa?
Joe Paz. Abdul?
Natalie, ¿quieres una cookie? Ronda trajo cookie y fue a Costco, se jugó la vida a Costco y todo.
Wow, pues sí, eso es
Buscarla.
más violento. Mira. Here.
That.
¿Tú cogiste una cookie? ¿No te comes el chocolate? De resto.
I was in North Carolina the last meeting. Got a kid
¿Cómo fue
studying.
por ahí bien?
Bien, tengo el hijo menor mío estudiando en college en North Carolina.
¿Y tú me dijiste?
Es increíble la edad que tiene ella.
Sí, cogió una beca, but the room and dormitory and meal plan is like $1,600 a month. Más los libros y todo los gastos. Sale caro.
Yo tengo un nieto que cogió una beca ahora en Boston University, ya está allá en medicina, $85,000 al año, full, y $10,000 por otra beca que le dieron aparte. El chiquito es un
El hijo mío
95,000 pesos de beca.
quiere estudiar medicina, es his goal. He wants to be a doctor.
Bueno, el nieto mío ya está en Boston University, ya empezó allá. Hace
Este
2 semanas que
cogió, bueno, acaba de empezar, pero es 4 años. Hopefully he'll do good. and
No,
he'll do
estos
good.
muchachos estudiosos, fíjate que son una maravilla.
Si no, yo tengo el pre-K college program que no lo estoy tocando y eso I can use it for
Le
his
sirve para
masters,
claro,
sí,
claro.
mientras que no lo usa para ahora. And I'm
Right.
not touching it.
No, dale gracias a Dios.
Members Ralph Farrell, Joe Paz, and alternate member Zachariah Evangelista have been sworn in. Mr. Mayor, item number 6, under new business, opening remarks. Mayor, do you have any opening remarks?
Yes, I do. Like I mentioned before, I hope everybody did well with Irma. As you notice, we already started picking up, and I know Commissioner Blanes was instrumental in putting a fire behind this whole thing. And but we got it, right?
Yes.
It's working out. You know, we're basically working in 3 different sections, and so as you probably know, our mines are you know, hurricane related. Now we have another hurricane that hopefully doesn't come in this way, but it's pointing this way. And the reason I bring that to, you know, to your attention is, and by the way, I just want to throw this on the table, not as a motion, as a probably a discussion. I'm a little concerned with, you know, our minds are all over the place with this thing, talking about probably we're looking at some of us claiming for whatever damages. The administration, the attorney, we're all involved in this, trying to serve the city and get it back to normal. So I was wondering if it would be a good idea to postpone this meeting. Of course, if we postpone this meeting, I'm talking about probably till early in the year, you know, we have to think that we're not going to be ready for the current election, which is coming on in April, probably looking at something that I brought before, looking at November. And I just want to start with that for you to ponder on and think about it. So I don't know what you think. I just want to hear your comments. It's just a thought, and I don't know about you guys, but I've been running really hard lately. And, you know, especially myself, not only being the mayor, but also playing architect, you know. So, and Joe can relate to that because I'm sure that your job have not been, it's not getting any easier. So you're probably jumping a lot of hoops lately, so. Again,
Sorry, but as a public insurance adjuster, I've been kind of going crazy myself here. Is that something that we can do?
That's something that unfortunately, the city clerk is not here, and I will have to rely on probably talking to our city attorney.
I can respond on
Oh,
the
okay,
issue.
okay, I'm sorry.
On the clerk's issue, it's okay.
There she is.
Some things have changed, but the concept is overall the same. The elections department requires some time to put language on the ballot. Whatever decisions you all make, which goes to the commission at that time for a yea or a nay in terms of putting language on the ballot. If you wish to consider what the mayor has advised, you have more time to review the charter, we have more time to discuss the sections of the charter, and we will have plenty of time to put a question on the November, you talked about November election as a possibility. There's plenty of time to get questions on that ballot. That is a general election that Miami-Dade County and other state offices and other proposals will make that ballot. So the city has time to put questions on that ballot, as many as you deem appropriate in terms of charter changes. Okay? If you want to do it, fast track it, and the desire is for the board wants to proceed with the
Yeah.
April election, then you have a shorter window of time to conclude your studies, your deliberations, and submit your questions to the mayor and city commission so that it moves closer to making it onto the April ballot. I would say, to play it safely, that if you want to look at the November ballot, we should have our questions in place by July of next year, or at least a pretty good sense of where we're going with your changes, because there is an August election, which are the primary elections. And so the elections department gets very busy and starts to ask their cities for the ballot information that goes in for November. So I would say we need to finish by July. If you're looking at an April election, then I would say you need to conclude your deliberations by the end of this year on December 30th, so that the item can come to the commission for a formal vote, and the attorney is given some time to prepare the questions for the ballot.
For
Again,
the record, let me say, I would like for the board
Pepe, speak
Microphone.
into the mic.
to turn to section 7.06. No later than 240 days prior to each 4-year review commencing on the second Tuesday of April, and so on and so forth.
Right.
The operating lines are 240 days prior to the election. So you have to give yourself time in which to, number one, formulate whatever you want to, whatever amendments you want to do. Two, you have to issue some time in which for us to put some legal language. And three, you have to submit it to the elections department for their review. So this is not automatic. So if you start on the 1st January, if you complete this, let's say in December, in my opinion, you will not have time to put it on the April ballot.
May I have a question?
So we're looking at November, right? So we say, instead of December.
At a glance, I mean, I'm not,
No, let me,
we're 197 days from the election.
The charter says, Mr. Villalobos, section 7.06, is that no later than 240 days prior to each 4-year review commencing on the second Tuesday and so on, but it talks about
Appointing.
the commencement of putting together a charter review board.
I have a question. May I?
yes.
We create this committee, right?
Right,
These members are here to do this.
right,
The election of West Miami is in April.
yes.
We should do this in our election in April. Now, whoever have a problem and cannot do it by April is their problem, but we should do it by our election. Because now we start the August, November, then something happen next year, Yolanda, you know. And I don't think we should go to like the snowball, rolling and rolling and rolling. We should do the work that we have to do soon and finish by December and make it in April in our election. If the attorney is too complicated and this is not good for him, I'm sorry. So we should do it in April.
I don't think that anyone said one way or the other.
Well,
I'm
but I
just
mean,
giving you information.
when the conversations
Correct the
start
record, Mr.
to
Mayor.
create this
Yes,
delay,
correct the record. It was not my idea,
What?
period, okay?
but you make a recommendation in the last moment. You said will be better for April, for,
No,
November.
I'm the one who brought it.
no, but he talked about that.
I'm the one who brought it to the table. I just asked for the attorney for the terms.
And he followed your,
And the
he
condition.
said,
I'm
My
the
question
one who
is-
brought it to the table. Well, like I said, it's a committee, so it's not my opinion or your opinion, it's everybody's opinion.
And-
So
and I-
I want to hear from
And I
everybody.
think that as far as April is concerned, the 240 days or whatever it mentions there, like I will refer to you as the clerk for this moment, it has stated it's really to appoint people.
Correct.
However, when, with regards to the election, they say not less than 60 nor more than 120 days after a draft is submitted. So the potential, I think, even if we delay it a meeting or two just for people to get things in order, the possibility of still being able to finish this exists for
Absolutely.
May
election
I-
time in April, no?
may I have another question?
Yes.
When this board was created with enough time, with the perfect timing to do it. And we should do what we planning to do it
Mhm.
and do efficiently and do it right.
Absolutely.
I don't think we should go back and forth about no.
No, I don't think it's about going back and forth.
We
I mean,
should-
like, if you heard what I just said, I'm actually saying that I think we can do it
But I
for
mean, we
April.
should do in April, that's my opinion.
Mhm.
And I'm pretty sure your opinion should be that, because you don't want to be here till November the next year, and that's no good.
Can I hear from,
I want to just be
Commissioner
sure I
Rodriguez.
understood what you were proposing, Mr. Mayor. I'm not clear on what you were proposing. What would you, what were your thoughts?
if you remember, I didn't put a motion on the table.
Right.
I said, okay, so let's
No,
not
yeah,
get
yeah,
passionate, let's
that's
not
why
get
I just want to clarify
passionate about it.
if I understood what you were saying.
Okay. One of the things that we do in life, when you're in the position that you are, you try to anticipate.
Correct.
Of course, everything is unpredictable. I mean, we get a hurricane and then everything takes, and like Commissioner Suarez says, something else could happen later on. Not because we postpone something. All I said is there's a lot going on right now, and I wanted to hear your thoughts. If I don't hear your thoughts, it's only what I'm thinking. I want to hear your thoughts, you know, and again, it's a committee. So at the end, we'll make, the only thing I said, there's a lot of things going on because of the hurricane. This kind of, for lack of a better word, threw a monkey wrench on the whole. And I said, you know, we have different things to do, so perhaps we should group again at the beginning of the year.
Okay, that's what-
And,
that's what I
but,
wanted to
and I
say.
said, keep in mind that if we regroup at the beginning of the year, we don't have time for the April election. We
Okay.
have to go for the November
Okay.
election. That's all I said.
That's
And
all.
I
I
just
just
want
wanted
to
to be sure
hear
that's what I
your
heard.
opinion. I want to
Okay.
hear everybody's opinion.
Well,
you know,
remember,
one way or the
may
other.
I?
Can we hear from the other members?
Yeah,
and then
all
we'll
the
come
members
back
give
to
opinions,
you,
please.
Commissioner?
If I may,
Yes.
I would concur with the mayor, especially in my case, since I was not present the last meeting. That way I can read up again and refresh my recollection on the charter, and also go over the minutes of the prior meeting. So I would concur with Mr. Mayor that that would be a good idea.
Okay. Anybody else?
And just to be sure, Ralph, you were saying if we waited until January, we can meet in January, you feel we'll have enough time to get it
Well,
done by April?
Just saying that it's no less than, that is, unless I check it, no less than 60, no more than 120 days after the draft is submitted. That's how much time we have for the election. I mean,
Okay.
the city attorney would probably interpret it much better than I just
Okay.
did, but I think that we'll have time. Maybe not even in January. Maybe we could just say, hey, guys, let's leave this for next month or something, because it is.
Okay.
And I agree with what Joe said, you know.
There's a lot going on
Speaking
now.
selfishly right now, I have a lot going on right now also. I wasn't here for the last meeting, so I also would like to read the minutes, which I'll have time to do that, and I could do that at another date. That's not a problem.
Mm-hmm.
When it's all said and done, like the mayor said, this is a committee, and regardless of what I feel, if everybody agrees that we should be here, hey, I'll be here with a big smile on my face. It doesn't matter. But I do think that, at least for me, again, speaking selfishly, if we could delay it just a little bit, I'm all for it myself also.
Okay.
May I again?
Sure.
We're losing the time for the meeting of today discussing that. I'm going to tell you something. Next year, in July, Yolanda is not going to be here. Some changes are going to be done, so we should do in April. Open your eyes. We should do what this committee was created, to do in July and work overtime, whatever we have to do, and do it.
Okay. Anybody else before, and let's make a motion or whatever, or move forward? Yes, Commissioner Blanes or?
Oh, I just have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
If we were to meet in October, November, December, would we have enough time to make it to the April ballot?
I think so.
Yes.
What happens
Sure.
is, I want to make sure that, okay, the other thing that I didn't say, I want to make sure that we have, I know everybody made a good effort to be here. I want to make sure that we have a quorum. And that's, like I said, it was just a concern. I don't want this thing to get blown out of proportion. I mean, I myself have a lot on my plate, so that's why I said it. I don't know each individual, your schedule and so on. That was the only, again, if we said, okay, let's do it, if the old consensus is to go on, I'll be here.
I have a motion.
And
I have no
if I'm not
problem with-
mistaken, the last time we did this,
Mhm.
we were done on time,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that one meeting was canceled.
Mhm.
We actually did cancel one, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of remember that
Mhm.
as
No, you're right.
having happened.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think that we could.
Yeah, I recall
Potentially get it done.
Annette said at the last meeting that if we move this to the November ballot, we might have a limit as to how much we can put, because those ballots are overloaded since
Mhm.
it's a general election.
That's a good concern.
So it might be diluted in the rest of the ballot, what we're
Okay.
trying to get across.
That's a good point.
my
That's
concern with
a
that.
good concern.
Valid, yeah.
Okay.
I think if we still postpone a few meetings, we would still have time to get it on the April ballot, though.
Maybe
I
not
don't-
till
I don't think
January,
that's
but
a
a
problem.
month.
Yeah, I
like,
agree.
you know,
Give it a month, maybe
Yeah.
reconvene in November. I think we'd still have time to get it on the
Because
on the
technically,
April ballot.
and it depends on how the attorney
Mhm.
interprets it, but I think that, given what I'm seeing here, we have till February, really, for it to be good until
Again, my
for the April
intention
ballot,
was
right?
not, okay, my intention is not, so, what were you gonna say?
Just for everybody's knowledge, we should give our city attorney the time to prepare the questions, because we have to submit that to the county for their review. So if there's a commitment to do it for the April election, there's gotta be a commitment on meeting attendance in the coming months. Because then we're really under the gun for meeting and completing the timelines. So I just wanted to put it out there.
And what if the coming months, we make our meeting a little bit longer?
It's up to you all.
We did that last time too.
I'm
We
just-
did a meeting on the
I'm the
Tuesday
clerk here.
before or something.
We should make a
right?
meeting, every city commission meeting.
Well,
That's it.
I'm thinking differently, because if we put it before a meeting, we have to end it at time certain. If we have it on commission meeting days, we can make it a little bit longer, not start early,
Yes.
because that's difficult for people, for everyone coming from work. So if we made the charter review meeting on an off commission meeting day, we have the liberty of, if we have to go longer,
Which is what
we
we did last
perhaps
time.
can, yes.
Right? Yeah.
If we make it on our commission meetings day, we've got to cut it off, whether we're done or not.
I understand, but
Mayor,
selfishly,
I'm
those
sorry
were-
very
wait, hold on. Okay. Thank you, but selfishly, for me, it doesn't work.
Okay.
You know, the more I come over here, the more complicated it gets.
Okay.
Okay, since I brought it to the table, okay, you know, and we haven't got to any conclusion, and I see that we, for lack of a better word, wasting time according to Commission, which I don't think we are. Why don't we move forward to the meeting and let's drop the whole.
Go ahead.
Let's keep it
No,
going.
because
Yes.
you have people that are saying,
Go ahead.
we agree with you, Mr. Mayor.
Mhm, okay.
So,
Okay, so what, you want to put a motion and call the vote and, okay, all right?
Is there a motion?
I make a motion to do like a West Miami, city of West Miami, do it in elections in April, the city of West Miami. Doesn't get in January, doesn't get in August, doesn't get in November. It's general elections, county elections, and our changes are going to diffuse. We should do this for our residents in April. That is my motion. And that's why this committee was formed, to do this in April. I'm sorry, Muña, I'm sorry very much. You brought this because you want to change this, but I don't think it's correct.
Okay, so.
I make a motion to do in
Let's make it
April.
but
quick.
Commissioner, that's
Motion.
not in question. We are all agreeing for April.
All right,
That's not the question.
that's a question.
make a
Okay, you agree
motion.
for April? Okay.
No, but no.
Yeah, but
we're
it's
not-
the way we
that's
go
not the
about it
question.
is
We are-
what's Brendan brought
We
up.
are going to put it on the April ballot.
Right.
No
You
one's
agree in
questioning-
April ballot? Okay,
But no,
I like you said so.
But no one questioned that.
No, it's not the fact of the
You want to
April
make
ballot.
a meeting Tuesday or whatever you tell me
No.
which day I will do.
No, I think they're just saying we're keeping it the April ballot, but maybe postponing it another month because of the hurricane and the
Right, that's all
jobs
we're
that.
saying.
Postponing what?
Our meetings,
gathering.
our charter
This
review
meeting.
meetings.
No, I think we should do it according with the program. Why not? The same thing we are here today,
Commissioner, it
we
was
should
a
be.
simple discussion and has become.
Yeah, but
something
the
like-
discussion, I know you introduced the discussion to create the confusion. I'm sorry, Muña.
So what?
I
I'll
did
tell you
not
what it
create
is.
a
Somebody make a
confusion.
motion and then.
Everybody for
Just vote
April,
on it.
everybody
There's a
for
motion-
April.
There's a motion on the table, made by Commissioner Luciano Suarez to continue the process so that we can meet the April election cycle.
Right.
Do I hear a second?
Right.
Going once? Going twice? Again, the motion made by Commissioner Suarez is so that the city of West Miami can meet the required April election deadline for possible charter changes. The motion is made. Do I hear a second?
Motion dies, okay? Let's continue with the meeting. Let's not keep talking about this, okay? So, we'll play by ear, okay? If in the next meeting, people don't show up, we don't have a meeting. But if everybody shows up, we continue. Yeah, that's it.
Quick question.
Oh.
What is the quorum requirement?
Huh?
What is the quorum requirement for this, task force?
That's a very good question. I will yield
The
to.
attorney.
To the clerk, to the attorney.
This is the 1/2 of one.
Good question.
Sorry?
Say
Oh,
again?
1+1, so we don't all need to be here,
No.
technically.
What's the
And we
answer,
just
Mr.
sworn
Attorney?
in, we sworn 3 more people today,
Yeah.
so,
One
If
half?
there's a scheduling conflict.
yeah, we sworn 3 more people.
Yeah, I think that we'll always have quorum. Right. That's a great point.
Okay, let's move on to the meeting. Thank you.
In our last meeting, may I proceed, Mr. Mayor?
Yes,
In our last meeting, I suggested for everybody to read the charter and to come up with certain whatever suggestions you had. Before we go chapter by chapter, I would suggest that if any of the members of the charter review board have any suggestions, we'll have it done in the form of a motion right now.
Mr. Attorney, I have to
sir.
pick up a very important phone call. I got my daughter in the middle of the Caribbean, and there's a hurricane coming, okay?
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Mr. Attorney, I'm not sure if your mic's not working, but I'm having a little trouble hearing you.
I was told not to use the mic because it interferes with that mic up there.
Oh, then we need to turn
So
the air.
I'll raise my voice.
No, we'll just have,
We can turn the air off. I
Shut
mean,
the
we're
air
all
off.
used to
Yeah,
not having
exactly.
electricity.
or raise the air, okay.
When do we only have 1 minute? 10 minutes.
I do.
You only have 10 minutes left.
Okay. Now,
Is today the date that we have to actually request any proposed changes? Like it has to be done today? I mean, the only reason I say that is because I kind of heard what you said. I didn't really
All right.
get the whole thing, but.
Again, I suggested at my last meeting, that all of you would read the charter and come out with ideas of what sections you would like to change. So you will come out in the form of a motion today or next meeting.
Okay.
Or whenever, and submit it to the rest of the board. That's one way of doing it. The other way is to continue section by section of the code, and whenever you have a question, to do it. But the reason that I suggested to have whatever motions you prepared or whatever ideas you had, to bring it forward now, so we don't waste time going back and forth. So if any of you have a suggestion of a motion in any particular section of the charter, please bring it now when the mayor comes in.
I'm back.
The mayor is back. So again, if anybody has a suggestion about a change or suggested change of the charter, and you have a motion, please do it now.
I have a,
Did anybody read the charter? I know, nobody read the charter. Good, I would feel bad.
Commissioner Suarez, you have something?
I have to store the thing.
While the commissioner collects his thoughts, does anybody else has any suggestion according to the attorney?
Well, I'm kind of on the part we spoke about of the $20 per meeting. I think that should be increased because it's kind of low. Well, on the
On the minutes?
3.04, which is what we discussed in the last. I think increasing the,
Could you speak a little louder, please?
I think they should increase, I don't know by how much, but the $20 per meeting for the councils, because I think it's been that for quite a while from what we said the last meeting. And also, the part you were talking about, that paragraph was a little confusing. It is not the intent to hereby permit payment of expenses and or per diem expenses for travel, but, if you're going on city business for seminars and conventions, which is to better yourself for the city, I think there should be a per diem given for that as well.
Agreed.
That's what I suggested last meeting.
I think they should.
What I suggested was not a motion, but I think that, what I suggested was for you to look at that, because I think that one does not jive with the other.
Right.
It's either you do it or you don't do it. So you should address it at this point, and, or think about it, or whatever you want to do, but have a motion on this issue, if you have any changes, so we can work on it.
Can we have a motion without the suggested amount?
Pepe, can they entertain a motion without a suggested amount
Basically, the
on
motion
the
would
issue
be
of
to remove
increasing the
this
city
sentence.
commission meeting allowance?
It is.
Let me put it this way, you can put out
But
in
maybe
the
just take out,
charter
like seriously, I
language,
can't think of anything else.
whatever language you decide to change.
But maybe just
Okay.
taking out the word
You can
not,
put
making
amount,
it clear that it is the
you
event.
cannot put amount. You decide if you want to do it one way, if you decide to remain silent and act upon the decision of the council or the commission, you can do that. You can do whatever suggestion you deem necessary for us to put it down in writing and for us to examine whether or not that's legal. And whether or not the elections department would accept that language.
Well, may I?
Sure?
In reference to what she was talking, I was working on that, and I have a motion here, a suggestion, in a 3.04, compensation and expenses, should be amended to read, since 1946, members of the City Commission and Planning and Zoning Board receive compensation in the amount of $20 and $15 respectively per meeting on attendance, until such is changed by the council by the resolution. Members of council may be excused with compensation for no more than 2 meetings during each year of the member term in office. Members of council should not receive compensation for attendance at no more than 30 meetings during the fiscal year. That's the first paragraph in the 3.04. Also, in the third paragraph, because
Mr. Commissioner, I don't mean to interrupt you, we should contemplate one issue at a time.
yes, that's what I'm talking to you about, the third paragraph. This is the first paragraph, what I said.
He's referring to 304.
304,
Paragraph 1.
paragraph 1.
And
That's
3.
what I said, what I took. Now, I will make a reference now to the paragraph 3. The council may, at the regular calling meeting, by a 4/5 affirmative vote, approve additional expenses for council members for travel and or per diem expenses with the state of Florida, provided, however, such travel and per diem expenses are for the direct benefit and or direct city business. That's the third paragraph. That's the two amended I have.
I'm not clear on what you want
Yeah.
to amend it to.
Huh?
What do you want to amend it to? What,
The third paragraph,
To what you said, like, punto final, like, that's
punto
where it
final,
ends?
this is that, that's it. And the first paragraph was what I
To add the
did
1946
it
part?
before. Because the only way to change the members of the planning and zoning of the city commission for meetings is by city council resolutions. But we have to take it to the ballot.
Mhm.
I think these things are very elemental in the way he's writing. You may do it better, Yolanda. The first and the third paragraph.
If I may, I'm a little confused in what Commissioner Suarez is trying to get at.
No.
If the intent is to raise that amount of $20, I wholeheartedly agree that that amount is really low. I remember, I believe it was 12 years ago, my first Charter Review Committee member, or when I was member for the first time, it was still $20 at
Yeah,
that
that's
time,
why-
and we tried to change it, but
No, because that's,
nobody went for it.
but it's a little difference. My wordings started paragraph, since 1946, members of the City Commission and Planning and Zoning Board receive compensation in the amount $20 and $15 respectively per meeting on attendance, until such is changed by the council by resolution.
Isn't there something else in the charter that talks about the members of the Planning and Zoning Board and their compensation?
Their compensation is contemplated by under zoning ordinance 282.
Yeah, but still, basically, in this paragraph in 3.04,
Mhm.
what govern, that thing, the money for the meetings. So that's why I try to amend to read in this way. So if it's approved, then it can be, like you said, be increased. But, that's why I make reference to since 1946. So the voters, we understand, so the $20 in 1946, I know the $20 in 19 now. And the planning zoning make it $15 per meeting. It should be different things. We should be something better.
Mr. Mayor, may I?
Yes.
Yolanda, excuse me, I think you should be put in writing, because my English is, is like a Tarzan, so they maybe do not understand me. That's what happened with Mr. Paz. He didn't know understand.
We
Commissioner
have,
Rodriguez.
I believe this has come up during every charter review gathering that we've always tried to raise it, and it's never, we put it to the voters, and it's always been voted down. So maybe we should take out, I don't think a commissioner, a council member should be compensated if they're not here. So maybe we should take that part out.
I agree.
If you're not here, you don't get paid for being here. So
Well, it says,
members of
his
council may be
proposal says
excused
on
with
attendance.
compensation.
Yeah, but it says on attendance.
It's his proposal, Commissioner Rodriguez, Commissioner Suarez's proposal says respectively per meeting on attendance.
So then we would not, this
So
part
that would
be taken
out.
Okay, but
Exactly.
that might make it a little more palatable,
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, if you want to,
But now, okay, the way it works right now, if you don't come to the commission meeting, you don't get paid.
You have excusals, you can be excused.
to excuse,
Sir,
times.
but we
Okay.
may,
Okay.
but we may take this out too.
Take it out. I think
We
that
may
should-
take
On
this out.
attendance.
Yeah,
Leave
and
it at on attendance.
take that,
You don't
and
get
they
paid for
said,
being here.
members should receive compensation, yeah,
On attendance,
that's it.
until such is
So
changed by
make it more
council by
easier, because
resolution.
they say the way we put this to the voter, have the way that I learned with the old guy here who used to sell real estate, he used keys. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. The simple language is the better for the people to understand.
Agreed.
I have a question for the city attorney. Let's say we go for a motion second and it gets approved. Can we work on the language later on?
Let me put it this way.
Because we could be talking about the language all night.
Let me put it this way.
I mean, but just go for the intent.
Moiña, you maybe do not understand me neither. I understand.
No, no, no.
That's why Yolanda told Yolanda,
I
make it
understand
writing for me
perfectly.
and
I-
make it better.
I'm
One.
telling you, I understood perfectly, but the language is not, we need to work on the language. So we're not, my question to the attorney is very simple. Can we work on the language?
Sure.
Both based on the concept, and work on the language. That's it.
Always we do.
The answer is an absolute yes, and I
Okay. Of
discussed
course.
this with Commissioner Suarez.
Okay?
I just took this, some of this.
Would you please
Wait,
send
yeah,
Commissioner
one at a time,
Suarez
one at a
to be
time.
finished, please? so I can explain. Whatever you want to put in the language, okay? In winter, I get up at night and dress by yellow candlelight, I will put it down. The thing is that whether or not the people will approve it or not. But you decide what to put in the language. I told you on the first meeting that we had that I thought that it was ridiculous for you guys to pay, the commission to get paid $20 because in 1946 a loaf of bread was 5 cents a loaf of bread. So you can put it whatever you want. The language is the one that you have to work on at some point, because as I discussed with Commissioner Suarez, I have not seen a historical reference like since 1946 member of the city commission and so on and so forth. What the Commissioner Suarez is trying to say is explaining to the people that it has been many years. But I have never seen a charter review ever to make that sort of reference. So you can work on the language. I would suggest for you to approve or disapprove
The concept.
changing the numbers. Okay? But do it, and you can work on the language at some point. The language will be drafted by me, will be brought out to you, and you approve it or disapprove it, and change it or whatever. Add it or subtract, whatever.
Right? The election department is the authority that will tell us if we can put it 1946 or not, right?
No.
That's not what I have ever seen. This
You never
is
seen-
something that I have to, but let me finish to respond to you,
But let me ask you the question.
okay?
I asked it before, 2 hours ago or an hour ago,
Okay.
1946, and you told me I have to consult with the election department if
If
they
you
allow
let me
it.
finish, I will do that. I
So
will
if
say
they
that.
allow it, we do it, because my intention is that the voters in West Miami knows that since 1946, this is $20.
And I
Because
told
many
you,
people
Commissioner
here
Suarez,
was not here in 1946.
If you let me finish, please.
Mr.
I
Attorney,
explained to you that I would have to consult that language
Perfect.
with the,
continue,
Can
Mr.
finish.
Attorney. Continue, Mr. Attorney, please.
with the elections department, whether or not that's proper,
Perfect,
okay?
we do it.
And the next thing, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I would respectfully suggest, again, you do whatever you want to do, to treat one paragraph at a time, not two paragraphs, because it's confusing and it does not make a clear record. So when you refer to one portion of a section, approve or disapprove that section, and then go to the other section. Do not mix it together, please.
Just so I'm perfectly, and I hate to beat a dead horse here, but just to be perfectly clear, are you proposing to add that verbiage of the since 1946 to the charter or to the ballot? Like to say, hey, guys, listen,
We
since
had to put in
46,
the
spend
ballot.
$20,
This is the
it should be 100 or whatever the number is.
This is the language for the ballot. That's why they put it.
Okay,
But not
that's
the
fine to be
language
clear,
for the
but not the language for the charter.
The language, no.
Okay. But yeah, because that wasn't
No, no,
said,
no,
you
no,
know,
no.
so.
I'm sorry, and I'm not an attorney, but it has to be both. You can't have one language in the charter and another one in the
No, but I
ballot.
mean, there's
So
no-
in
there's
other words,
no-
a charter
we have
can't
to
have an
propose a
explanation.
change. We have
Espera,
to,
espérate un momento.
we have to
Dale.
propose a change on a charter to be placed on the
On the
ballot.
ballot.
With-
Got it.
But there's no prompt to the change?
Huh?
We can't put a prompt to the change.
Like, there can't be an explanation of why there's a change.
That's why I'm requesting that I would consult with the elections department. That's what I told the Commissioner Suarez an hour ago. Okay? The concept, I understand what you want, okay? $20 is too little.
Too low, right?
And you want to do it by resolution. At this point, you can't do it because you're taking the entire, you cannot read it. There's a principle of law that reads the rule of completeness. You have to read the whole section, not only part of the sections, because it might be confusing.
Not just extra.
So therefore, approve it, please, and then have an opportunity for me to go out to the elections department, like I told Commissioner Suarez, and we'll come out with the historical. But I have never seen a charter review question in the ballot with a historical reference.
He's correct.
That makes perfect
Okay.
sense, too, what you're saying, yeah. Now, does the state impose a max that a commissioner could earn per meeting?
75 words, I think.
No, that's the.
No,
the letter
a max amount
cover.
of monetary,
Dollar
dollar amount.
You
Is
can
there a
put
max?
Whatever you want.
Oh, really? Okay.
You can put whatever money you want. You can just say, I want to do it by resolution, I want to do it by ordinance. You know, I want to put $100, or I want to put $200. That's up to you to determine what to put in the ballot.
Can't you put adjustment, like an
Sorry?
automatic adjustment, like a
CPI.
COLA, or, yeah?
To be reviewed on a yearly basis, during budget time for a CPI.
Which would go without any type of vote?
No, it would have to be inclusive of the
No,
language.
he means going forward. If we
So like in
included that
5
word
years, the CPI increases by, cost of living increases
Exactly.
20%, this
Then
would
it
just
is adjusted
automatically.
until such time that charter is amended again.
We got about 10 more minutes, because we got a meeting that starts at 7:30, and we need to take a break, and I'm prepared for the other meeting. So, can we take paragraph 1, make a motion, second the motion, vote, and then move on? So, the motion by, can you repeat the motion in short, Commissioner Suarez?
Well,
Just the concept.
3.04 and the compensation and expenses should be amended to read, since 1946, members of the City Commission and Planning and Zoning Board receive compensation in the amount of $20 and $15 respectively per meeting on attendance, until such is changed by the council by resolution. Members of council should not receive compensation for attendance at no more than 30 meetings during the fiscal year.
Tony, you put the motion on the table. Are you in agreement with that language? Before Commissioner Suarez seconds the motion. And we call the vote.
Well, I'd like an amount, but I guess we can't put an amount.
No, the amount is, what he's saying is by resolution, so that
Right.
we'll,
Okay.
you know,
I
we'll
do have-
discuss it at that time.
I have a question before we vote. Why are we adding planning and zoning to this section, which is not planning and zoning? This
That's
is
another
city
section.
commission.
Right.
So why are we adding planning and zoning wording to a
Uh,
city commission?
So your
Section.
suggestion is to leave it out and leave the planning and zoning rule by 282 or 280?
Yep, 282.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, because that would definitely muddy the waters when we start adding other.
I would agree with Commissioner Rodriguez. Just leave it as commission and not muddy the waters with planning and zoning, code enforcement, board, et
Commissioner,
cetera.
Commissioner Suarez, do you agree with
I
that?
try to, because we are amending the charter, that's why, because we are amending, I make a reference to the city commission and planning and zoning board, because they are paid per meeting. That's why I make a reference to these two boards.
Is planning and zoning mentioned anywhere else in this charter?
No.
Not
Do
in the
they
charter.
follow- Do they follow what we are? what we-
Zoning, they follow the zoning ordinance.
Mr. Pena, that issue is addressed in zoning ordinance 282. Is that not correct?
That's what I said.
I'm
So that
sorry?
would have to be,
Section
that
18.
ordinance would have to be
Okay.
amended,
So-
not the charter. Okay.
If it's already there, you can always amend it by an ordinance amending chapter 282 without going out to the
Okay.
referendum.
Let's leave planning and zoning in 282, and let's just leave that planning and zoning words out of this first paragraph.
Okay, Commissioner,
my-
so friendly amendment to that.
Friendly
All right,
You okay
no
with that?
problem, no
Okay.
problem, I don't have a
Strike.
problem.
Tony, are you okay with it?
Yes, but now a question, because the attorney said that you have to do like the whole section as a whole, right? If you make a change. No?
What I
No,
mean
we
is, if you're gonna
take
change,
one paragraph at a time.
Okay,
if you're gonna change one paragraph, please address that paragraph,
okay.
okay? Or if not,
Okay.
I'll amend the whole section.
So the motion by Luciano Suarez.
No,
City-
motion was by
I'm
Tony.
sorry, by Tony Chavez, is to make a change to section 3.04 as it deals with compensations and expenses to read, since 1946, members of the city commission receive compensation in the amount of $20
Yeah,
per
should be
meeting
no-show.
on attendance until such is changed by the council by resolution. That would be your motion?
Yes, yes.
Commissioner Suarez, do you second the motion?
Yes, I second, and I think we should add it, friendly amendment. Members of council should not receive compensation for attendance at no more than 30 meetings during any fiscal year.
Even if it's there?
Because that's already there.
I know it's already there.
But you don't
but I
have
want-
to change that, you can keep that, I presume.
But,
Add the resolution you're proposing, or we're proposing.
but I'm trying to present the amended to be written that way.
To
The
include
amendment
the
is-
The paragraph
existing
number
language.
one, amended the paragraph number one to be written in the way that what she said and what I said.
Which would
Don't
be
read that because we're trying to change this number one.
I got it.
to
You got it
include the
now?
existing language.
It's going to be a new paragraph. We're going to make paragraph number one, we are going to make it this way. What she said and what I added.
Okay, to include the remaining existing language in the.
That is
Madam
correct.
Manager, could you read exactly how paragraph 1 is going to read in its entirety? Or what is being suggested that it read?
Page 4.
Since 1946, members of the city commission receive compensation in the amount of $20 per meeting on attendance until such is changed by the council by resolution. And then it goes on to say, members of the council may be excused with compensation for not more than 2 meetings during each year of the member's term of office. Members of the council shall not receive compensation for attendance at not more than 30 meetings during any fiscal year. Is that correct, Commissioner?
No, I think we should take about the lines was said, they are able to be paid for 2 excuse meetings.
Strike
that, take that.
Strike that.
We never got paid.
Was that again?
We never got paid.
Council by resolution, and then
When
you
we are
go.
not here, we didn't get paid.
Well, yeah, because the way it reads is may, not must.
The
So,
So-
strike the second sentence under 304, first paragraph, and continue on the third sentence. Members of the council shall not receive compensation for attendance at not more than 30 meetings during any fiscal year.
Perfect. That's what I agree with that.
That would be
You
the
agree with that?
language. Do you agree with that friendly amendment, if you want to call it that?
Yes.
Okay. So the motion was made by Ms. Chavez, board member, and seconded by Commissioner Suarez. How do you vote, Member Paz?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Candy Blanca?
Yes.
Member Ralph Orell?
Yay.
Alternate member Zacaria Evangelista?
Get the vote? No.
Commissioner Rhonda Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Juan Blanes?
Yes.
Member Natalie Milian?
Yes.
And member Antonia Chavez, Tony Chavez.
Yes.
Motion carry, well,
No.
Mayor
Mayor.
Moina, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in favor, and 1 nay.
Okay, we basically running out of time, or well, actually, we run out of time, but let's, as long as you promise that we can be brief. There's no discussion on second paragraph, there's only discussion on third paragraph, Commissioner Suarez?
Yeah, the third paragraph should be amended to read, the council may, at the regular call meeting, and by a 4/5 affirmative vote, approve additional expenses for council members for travel and/or per diem expenses within the state of Florida, provided, however, such travel and per diem expenses are for the direct benefits and/or direct city business, period. The 3 lines be deleted.
Striking the last 2 sentences.
Yeah.
How about we add something to the effect of maybe giving them some sort of a stipend for just traveling outside of the expenses that they're incurring? Because it's their time as well.
No, but it's already here, member for travel. Is there?
That's additional expenses though. And/or per diem expenses, but it doesn't say anything about.
Yeah, no, but what happened is the following. In other words, all it's saying is whatever expenses, instead of coming out of your pocket, since you're doing business for the city, I know what you're saying.
Mhm.
What you're saying is almost like adding a salary, per se, that's not what's contemplated here, but, I mean.
Yeah, I think at the very least, just give them whatever they would get for going to a council meeting. I mean, they are taking their time to go do whatever it is that they have to do, whether it be, your lobbying or your whatever official city business you're doing. I think they should be compensated accordingly, personally.
May I-
I'd also like to
Yeah,
make a change,
May I-
Mr. Mayor.
Let me explain you, my young friend. Don't put
Make it
here
brief.
in the ballot, because I've been living here for 30 years. Don't put anything here in the ballot, increase of salary or increase of traveling, because the voters are going to vote no. All over the county, all over the state, all over the nation. So we just go trying to make simple things and right things. They changed from 1946 to 2017.
I
Well,
don't
you know,
disagree with what you're saying.
We, because I think we should not go to, because normally you are a businessman or whatever you are, man, you look a businessman, a smart guy.
Well, thank you.
And you maybe say, we should do it, but this is not the way for the voters in West Miami. So you have to be very conservative in that.
I understand, however, I do feel that the voter of West Miami should also be a little more, or they should be educated, a little bit prior to the election. They should know why these changes are being proposed. They should know
Well-
that, people we don't expect them to work for free.
I'm talking about the practical thing, the experience,
Well,
because
this is.
No, and I respect that. You have many years of doing this.
He put the motion, the way it works is the following. The motion's on the table, that, if you're gonna second
That's
the
a
motion, that's a
friendly
friendly
amendment.
amendment. It's up to him to take the first
yeah,
amendment or
you
not.
want to make amendment, you do it, but I recommend you don't do amendments about spending money, because myself, I always recommend these boards, the second paragraph about the salary, don't touch. I remember last charter review board, somebody, no, because we should, they should.
That was me.
Okay, anybody else want,
I
Commissioner
I
Rodriguez?
would like a friendly amendment as well.
What was that again?
I would like to make a friendly amendment, where it says, first word of the second line, additional expenses. I believe that the council should approve by 4/5 vote all expenses, not additional. I think before we want to spend any money, it should come to the table. Before we want to go to a training or a conference, I believe it should be approved by the table before it is actually done.
Commissioner
Actually-
Rodriguez, this is the way it is, it always has
No, because here
been.
it says additional. I don't want additional. I want all. I want any and all. I want that word changed to all. The commission may, at a regularly called meeting and by a 4/5 vote, affirmative vote, approve all expenses for commission members for travel and/or per diem expenses
Well,
within the state of Florida.
if
I
you
want
want-
it to come to the table before it's actually spent
It-
or done.
That's the way we do. But if you like to put all
That's
instead
not what we-
additional.
I beg to differ.
No, let me
Commissioner.
tell you,
That is
I
not
agree
what we
with
do.
you. You do, because that's the way we do.
That is not the way we do it now.
That's the way we do.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way we do.
I respectfully.
Well,
beg
I
to
tell
differ.
you,
Let's get to the point.
So I want that word
He
changed
agrees
to
to the
all.
motion, I'm sorry to cut you. He agreed to the motion, it's gonna be all.
Perfect.
Tony?
Go,
I
go.
just have a comment, unless I'm reading this wrong, but the way I'm kind of looking at it is the direct benefit and our direct city business, where it says it is not the intent hereby to permit payment. I don't know if maybe the word not should be taken out, because intent to permit payment of expenses, per diem expenses, travel attendance, that to me is like an explanation of what we are allowing in that first
Yeah, it
section.
contradicts it.
Yeah, it's
It's
contradiction.
very contradictory.
It is.
Because
Mhm.
we are allowing them on the first section travel for direct business, direct city business, and on the bottom, travel for attendance, seminars, conventions, dinners, lobbying purposes, other uses, expenses, travel per diem, all that has to do with city business anyways.
I
So,
think if you
I
remove
think
the
you should
word
take out
not,
the word
it
not.
may.
Yeah, take out the
may-
word not.
Is the intent.
That's
Right.
why we do
Permit
It
this
is the
amendment
intent.
board.
Right.
That way we do this, because 1946 to now is a big difference. A lot of contradictions in the charter.
Right.
Okay.
That's
So
why
I
we
think
do
take
it.
out the word not.
Let's be brief, Okay, Commissioner, do you take that also, eliminate the word not, as a friendly amendment?
All,
No.
No.
We're
We
talking
passed
about
it.
something
It's all-
different. There's a contradiction between the beginning of the paragraph and the end of the paragraph.
The second sentence.
Second
basically.
sentence.
Striking the
I
word not.
believe that Commissioner Suarez's intent was to remove the entire.
yeah, the
second-
three lines.
Right, all
Because
that.
that three line, the three last lines is a contradiction to the other.
Okay, so then we're in agreement.
That's why we're trying to delete those things.
Delete that
No.
and end it at the state of Florida. Expenses within the state of Florida.
I guess, yeah.
If I
No, no.
hear correctly,
Or for
Commissioner
direct-
Suarez.
Direct
instead of
city
city
business.
I'm sorry.
City
Wait,
business.
we need to keep the record straight.
That's
No, no,
why,
one at a time.
if I hear correctly, Commissioner Suarez's motion would be the council may, at a regularly called meeting and by a forfeit affirmative vote, approve additional expenses for council members for travel and/or per diem expenses within the state of Florida, provided, however, such travel and per diem expenses are for the direct benefit and/or direct city business.
Period.
Yes.
Well,
That
Period
you
and.
didn't-
However,
you
taking
didn't
out the
have
word
my change.
additional,
My
yeah.
change was, I don't want
The-
additional. Or we can strike additional and just put, the council may at a regularly called meeting and by a fourth-fifth affirmative vote approve expenses, not additional. I just wanted to come to the table for approval before it's spent.
Rhonda, always has been that way. I don't know where you are, but always,
Because-
we have a
Let's not get
different
into an argument.
expended, we have to approve 4/5,
I'm not arguing.
because you forgot, but it's a way.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is there a
Natalie.
reason that it says within the state of Florida? Can we strike that? Because if you're on city business, you're on city business. Has there never been a time that they've gone outside the state for training or seminars?
Or to DC.
To Washington, right?
Not,
No.
not reimbursed by the city.
No. Is there a reason that's in there? Is it
No,
by
that's just the
statute?
provisions of the charter.
That's a good point. I
Can I
think.
Anytime.
suggest that we strike that out and just leave it as, city business or expenses provided however such travel are for direct city business and strike that out?
Commissioner Suarez,
What?
another friendly amendment.
Can we strike out within the state of Florida and just leave it?
Well, let me tell you, I don't want to discuss, because maybe Rodriguez is going to say another negative point, so leave it at state of Florida. Because I have no interest,
Why
you
are
know,
you taking
Commissioner,
my- why are you
stop.
I have no
taking my
interest in,
negative?
in create anything.
Maybe you need to go to Washington DC.
That's the way it should be, but my experience,
can you
when
take
I
their
agree with
friendly,
this, I accept your friendly amendment. Yes.
Okay, all right, let's do it.
I agree with
Okay, so
that.
Okay,
striking-
anybody else? Anybody else?
Striking within the state of Florida, and that friendly amendment was made by member Natalie Milian, correct?
Right.
And the last sentence stays, right?
The last sentence stays. And Antonia Chavez once, actually presented another friendly amendment to remove the word
No.
not. It is the intent hereby to permit payment of expenses. Is that correct? Or did you want to just eliminate that sentence completely and just end it where it says, provided such travel and per diem expenses are for the direct benefit and/or direct city business, and end it there?
Well, I think like he says, since the voters are like kind of really
Mhm.
picky,
Mm-hmm.
this to me is an explanation of what we are allowing them. So maybe if we just strike it completely, instead of taking out the word not, just strike it completely because it's already covered in
Yeah.
that first section.
Yeah.
Less is more,
You're right,
okay.
right.
Okay. So there's a friendly amendment to strike within the state of Florida. Commissioner Rodriguez, I also want to point out to you that you suggested that it would read, that the change would read, the council may at a regularly called meeting and by a 4/5 affirmative vote approve expenses and
Exactly.
and remove the word additional.
Correct.
Approve expenses for council members for travel and/or per diem expenses, provided, however, such travel and per diem expenses are for the direct benefit and/or direct city business.
Perfect.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Okay, so,
You have a,
Commissioner Suarez, you're making the motion?
I agree, I make it, yeah, but I agree with the friendly amendments.
Motion to include the friendly amendments. Do I
Yes.
hear a second?
Sorry.
On the motion and the second, Member Joe Paz?
Yes.
Commissioner Luciano Suarez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Candida Blanca?
Yes.
Commissioner Rhonda Rodriguez?
Yes.
Commissioner Juan Blanes?
yes.
Member Antonia Chavez?
Yes.
Member Natalie Milian?
Yes.
Member Zachariah Evangelista?
Yes.
Member Ralph Orell?
Nay.
Mayor Muina?
Yes.
Motion carries by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1 nay.
Okay? Motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Ahora tú quieres una galletita.
No, estoy bien, gracias.
No, porque ahorita Rodríguez te dice que no toma.
Ladies and gentlemen, did we pick the next meeting date?
Yes,
We need to do that.
we need to do that.
Pero huelen riquísimo.
Está buenísima, come tu chocolate nada más. No te comes. Ronda las trajo de dieta, nada más que
Are there
chocolate.
any suggestions for the next meeting of the Charter Review Board?
My suggestion is to stick to the same day as the
Commission meetings.
commission meeting.
Agreed.
The next commission meeting is Wednesday, October 4th, 2017.
Okay,
Would you propose
Yeah, right.
starting the meeting at 5:30 instead of 6 o'clock so you can maybe make a little bit more
I agree,
progress?
5:30.
5:30, I'm
That's
fine.
typical for
5:30.
people getting off of work.
Well, do you agree on 5:30? Do we all agree on 5:30? No?
I don't, no.
That's October 24th?
No,
Huh?
I selfishly agree.
No, no.
5:30 is too early?
I agree, but not everybody can make it. I
No, no,
understand.
within 6 o'clock.
Coño, ahora vamos a comer una
Wednesday,
galletica.
October
Go,
Ya me
4th,
pusiste la
Llévate
dieta
una para la
cabeza.
casa.
2017.
Porque Rodríguez la
Is
trajo.
it 5:30 or 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock, 6 o'clock. So everybody is okay.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, Wednesday,
Mira,
October
mira.
There's
4th,
something to say.
you're out of town.
Okay, don't worry, we send you
We're
the
alternate, okay?
yeah, because we cannot stop. She
We can
can-
do a video
Villalobos, I
conference.
have a question.
Skype you in.
There we go.
Oye,
Villalobos,
estas galletitas fueron pagadas for fit by el matrimonio Rodríguez. No creas tú.